The Purge 2 is fantastic. I loved this movie. This movie was just through and through, from beginning to end. I was in pure amazement. And part of me is glad I didn't watch the first one, especially with all the criticism it's gotten. Just another home invasion with a interesting world just thrown into the background, just like not used properly. But this one, finally, it shows this world. And it just starts off, you know, introducing characters and their situations. But it kind of starts off pretty dark. The characters right now, the major characters are husband and wife who want a divorce. So, you know, they're not going to want a divorce in the end. And mother, daughter, and their grandfather. Or the mother's father, or stuff like that. But immediately, the mother's father is gone from the movie in a pretty nasty way. But it just shows the darkness of this new world. Apparently, if you're old or sick enough, you can actually have rich people buy you from your families. Like, give my family money and you can kill me. So, it's like, oh my god. That was just, oh my god. And then the main character, we all seen with the guns and the armor. He's the most badass guy in the whole movie. I can't wait to see him more on screen. And I like how throughout the whole movie he has no name. There's no name to him. Just barely a bit of backstory as to why he's on the streets on the middle of the Purge. But his name, apparently, at the very end of the movie, we find out what he's called. But he has no real name. He's just called Sergeant. And I just like that. So now just imagine throughout the whole movie, just the guy being called the Sergeant. He is the Sergeant. And it's like, you know what? Yeah, with some of the crap he does in this movie, yeah, I want to call him the most badass name ever, the Sergeant. Let's do that. I'm calling him the Sergeant. But, sorry. Immediately when the Purge starts and we start seeing all these people, kind of gangs, get started, you know, get prepared. It's actually kind of cool seeing their faces. Like, one of them is actually has this face of ecstasy. Like, this is the most amazing feeling he's ever had. He's in a school bus with a bunch of other tattooed looking criminal guys with giant guns, and he's just in the back with an axe, and he's just like, I'm gonna get some good killing. Like, damn, these people are sadistic. But yeah, at the whole movie, there's that fear. And it's not just people hunting people for the kill. There are actually people hunting them down so they can sell them to the rich, so the rich can hunt them like game in these mazes that they constructed for themselves. And it is just amazing. It was just shocking all the whole way through. I'm just sitting there like, oh yes, this is awesome. I mean, I can't, it's so hard to really properly analyze because, you know, this makes no sense. There's no reason for this to even exist. Who would believe this shit? But okay, one thing I can say is the people who love the Purge, they're involved in it. They participate in it. The people who hate the Purge are the ones hiding in their houses. They're the ones who are outspoken about it. I hate the Purge. And then they're the ones who are so used to it that they're actually able to joke about it. There are even people who joke to their co-workers like, hey, it's okay. You think it's okay if I rape you tonight? And the person just responds with like, oh, you're so funny. It's like, what the fuck? Like, no. But apparently they're just so used to it. It's like, they can joke about it. It's like, hey, I can rape you or your daughter, but we'll still be cool tomorrow, right? Like, sure, buddy. Like, but if that actually happens, like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, but the fact that they can joke about it is both disturbing and hilarious at the same time. And I like how the new Founding Fathers Association is the new government, so to speak. And I don't know how that works. Are the new Founding Fathers just a company, or that called that, or are they actually like this new president and this new cabinet who came up with this law? Because they had to be like the U.S. government to do this. And I like how the U.S. government is involved in this one as well. As they mention that not enough people are being killed. Because as it turns out, the Purge is just a lie. It's something that the government uses as a way to kill off the poor and the sick and the old, the unneeded. And they participated because they realized, hey, you know, even with the Purge, only one night a year, there's still not enough people being killed. You know, we're still spending too much money on these unwanted people. You know, we gotta hurry up and do something about that. Like, okay, well, we can take some of our own soldiers, go in there, and pretend to be just random purgers and just kill them ourselves. And that's just twisted in a way that it just makes everything so much more badass when the main hero, the sergeant, comes in and starts killing them too. And his reason for being on the Purge, the sergeant, is a good one. You know, he's gonna take advantage of it to get revenge for something that happened, for a crime that happened in actual regular time, not during the Purge. It happened just a regular crime, but he still got away with it. So now the sergeant's out there on the Purge as an excuse to kill those guys. But I am surprised though that actually people I thought that were going to die at the end of the movie didn't die, and then people who I thought were not gonna die actually did die. The ending can be kind of anticlimactic in a way that feels like everything's too neatly wrapped up in a bow. But there's also moments where you feel like it could be a sequel, because there's this Founding Fathers movement saying the Purge is a lie, we want to take it down, and that can only happen if we start attacking rich people, the ones who are protected by the Purge. But I find it weird that when we first meet this group in person, is it just me, or are they all blacks? Are they all African American? Now, I don't know if that's saying something, because all the people who love the Purge or are in favor for it are rich white people, and then the ones who are fighting back are, for the majority, a lot of black people. Now, that could be said that in today's society, there's, you know, no matter how hard you work, majority of the poor, or the ones who are stricken with poverty, will be the African American community, Chinese community, all these other ethnicities, while the white people are still the rich ones. They're the ones in charge of this nation. They're the ones setting up these laws. And that could be a look at the social standing. But it just seems kind of strange. It's, I believe, the year 2040s now. You would think by now there would be some differences in the race and financial standing, stuff like that. But who knows? Maybe they're just guessing. Maybe it's not important. Maybe that's not the main focus. It's just the Purge itself. That's what we should be focusing on. But all in all, this is a far superior movie than the first one. It actually lets us explore the world as it is. And all these groups and gangs going out on a purge for different reasons. The precautions some rich people will take to avoid being killed, or still kill without actually doing any work. The threat and horror of running from the people who want to kill you. But this was a far superior movie. I loved it. And it's definitely worth the watch. In fact, you can almost say you don't need to watch the first one to enjoy this one. In fact, you can almost say that this sequel is a decent beginning to a trilogy, or just a good first movie. In fact, you can pretty much say the first movie didn't matter. It had nothing to do with the Purge. It was just another home invasion movie. Screw it. And this is the actual Purge. This is the actual movie based on the Purge. See this one. It keeps up with the promise of a society without laws for 12 hours except for certain limits to how far you can go. But really, yeah, not only the Purge itself, but how it affects people before and after the Purge, it really shows in this. And it really is disturbing to an extent where you're glad that this kind of event is impossible for it to happen. It is impossible for anyone to even declare, hey, maybe this could work to solve a crime problem. Like, no, moron, it's not gonna happen. It's just not. But anyway, great movie. I loved it. I can't wait to see a third one where this anti-Purge movement actually takes off as its own thing, and there's just an all-out war between the people who hate the Purge and the people who love the Purge. Boom. And the rich fat man in the background is just saying, huh, I don't care. But he gets shot in the back of the head for no reason by some mysterious guy. Who knows? I don't know. That's just the Purge. Anything can happen. It's anarchy. But I love this movie. And that's all I can say. I'm Tony Dragon. Bye.